What is up, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Show. Polygamy, monogamy. We're gonna talk about it. We talked about it in January. We did a show about polygamy and all the things that's coming with that, the polyamorous conversation. Now we about to actually have a conversation inside a Clubhouse again. Is polygamy better than monogamy? Let's talk about it today on the Dre Mack Show.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast
All right, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Dre Mack Show. Today, again, I'm going to be talking about polygamy versus monogamy. A lot of this has been talked about now, especially in the Black community. It's always been going on, but it's really started to get big in the Black community. Of course, I got my panel from Clubhouse in here. If this is your first time watching the Dre Mack Show, just make sure that you are on YouTube. If you're on YouTube watching this right now, hit the like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss any time that I'm live. You can hop on into the live chat and be able to talk. Let's talk about all these conversations that we have going on. Make sure that you're, even if you hit it in the comment section, I'm gonna make sure to talk about it in the comment section. This is also live on the Facebook page, the Dre Mack Show, and this is going to be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Speaker Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts at. So I got my people that's inside of Clubhouse right now. Everybody in Clubhouse, say what's up to the people on YouTube right now.
What's up? What's up? What up, mofos?
So I'm going to be posing the question to them. Of course, if you're inside the Clubhouse right now, you're just now tapping in with the Dre Mack Show. This is live on YouTube. If you want to go ahead and you want to be a part of the conversation, make sure you raise your hand. One of the moderators is going to bring you up. If you do come up and you want to ask a question and you want to make a statement, make sure that you say your name, just your first name or nickname, say your age, where you're from, and then let's talk about the actual conversation. So let's get into it. Monogamy versus polygamy. And I know polygamy has been talked about a lot in the Black community. There's people like D-Ray Davis. There's a comedian that's been talking about that he is comfortable in his polyamorous relationship, his polygamous relationship. I want to ask the people in the audience, what is better, monogamy or having multiple partners? Let's go ahead. Just flash your mic whenever you're ready, or if you're in the audience, hit the raise your hand button so we can bring you up. But people in the audience, let's start this off with y'all. What do you think is better, monogamy or polygamy? Go ahead and flash your mic when you're ready, or if you want to speak. All right, I'm going to start over here. Let's go start with my man, Young Mike. Young Mike.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone that's in the Dre Mack Show world. My name is Young Mike from Brooklyn, New York. Can you just stay still for one moment, Dre, while I take a picture of the live feed for the Instagram?
Yeah, I'm saying Steve. This is my guy that's part of the he's a good friend.
On my TV YouTube, I don't like the fact that you're trying to be Tyson Beckford right now, but whatever. All right, so back. No, I love Dre Mack. Polygamy, better than monogamy. I feel like it just depends on the kind of mindset that you have. And I feel like it depends on the characteristics that you have as well for your relationship. What the hell are you laughing at over there? Just cheesing. Can't deal with this. Anyway, so I feel like it depends on what kind of relationship you have with the person that you love or supposed to love or you lust over. But polygamy does not last long. It brings you great sensations and great orgasms. That's wonderful. However, where is the longevity in it? what's the end goal outside of the multiple people that you have in line that you want to do or that you've already done. With monogamy, I'm a monogamous because that's what I was built off of, monogamy through my parents. So with me, that's what I want for to supersede my life. I believe in one band show. That's the two of us. I'm in the audience, you're on stage. I'm paying my ticket every single time because I feel like it's quality based, there's longevity, there's growth, there's a foundation, there's a seed that was planted forever to be a great forest of abundance for me. So my name is Young Mike. Getting it. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to the Dre Max Show. You know what it is.
All right, Young Mike. I seen that Suzanne and Therese wanted to speak, so I'm going to go with Therese real quick, and then I'm gonna go to Suzanne. If you do want to jump in on this conversation, I'm trying to get you up. I send you the invite. All you got to do is pull yourself up. Therese, what do you think? Monogamy, polygamy, which one is better?
So I may have a very distinct or maybe interesting view on it. So this is Therese out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I almost got into a polyamorous relationship many years ago.
Tyler, let's ask about it. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So I was a lot younger. I was probably in my late 20s. I met a couple, and the person that I met, I thought, this is something different, something interesting. We became friends, and that's how it started to develop. But when I started to learn more about the situation, I realized the guy was very manipulative and controlling. So for me, it was not a good fit for that particular situation. But it was something I had considered. I had it in the back of my mind because I was like, okay, you know what? I've seen some of this work, and I think people can love multiple people and things like that. And I think if you work together as a community, that polyamorous relationships can work. However, I also do think that it takes a very strong mind. It takes for everybody to be on the same page, and it has to make sense for the betterment of the family, because when you're delving into that world and you're adding children into a situation like that, you have to make sure that the kids that are involved in this do not feel as though they are losing something. And you also have to make sure that the sexual side of it is not intertwining into the situation, if that makes sense what I'm saying. So for me, I choose a monogamous, I would say unilateral relationship, which is a one-on-one. I choose that because monogamy really is just about being faithful to the situation. You know what I mean? So in a polyamorous situation, you can have monogamy because you're all faithful and very much on the same sheet of music. However, I just choose to have a one-on-one relationship because it's just easier and it's less it's less complicated. I'll put it like that. So this is Therese out of Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for giving me your time.
All right. That's an interesting view. And Suzanne, I'm gonna get to you because when I was younger, I was offered a polyamorous relationship with a young lady and her friend, and at the time, it sounded like a great thing to do, and I just didn't do it. And they were willing to do whatever, you know what I mean? It was like, we'll do whatever for you. You know, you don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is take care of, what you need to take care of as a man, make sure that we're good, and we're going to make sure that you're good. Now, did the sexual aspect come into that or whatever? It did. But also I was really thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I really want to deal with two people? What if these, one person is mad, one person's upset, does jealousy come about? And I do want to hear from more people who's actually considering a poly relationship. But I want to go to Suzanne real quick. Suzanne, are you still there?
I
am.
All right, Suzanne, go ahead. Let's talk about this. The polygamy or the monogamy? Which one is better?
Well, so I loved young Mike, and then actually Therese said it as well. The all-knowing 2 words, it depends. So I'm married for more than 20 years. I love my husband, but there are years that I'm not. I can honestly say we are always in love, or I always love my husband, but I'm not necessarily in love with him all the time. And I don't mean that with any disrespect to him. He's a great guy. So I think, in different years, it actually may work. Now, I've never tried it, but I've thought of it. And I've actually seen it where it's worked, right? So Therese mentioned, when there are children involved, it's complicated, which is very true. You got to think about the kids because, the kids come first, sorry. But I have seen it work when the kids are off in college and, just want to add a little bit of spice to the relationship. What I would hate to see is someone get hurt, the person that's not in the committed relationship. So I think that's where you have to have work to do it effectively where it doesn't hurt someone overall. I'm Suzanne and I'm done speaking.
All right. So what I'm hearing is that yes, it can be something that can actually happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of these factors in there. And especially where you start talking about spicing up the relationship, when you're in a long-term relationship with someone, you will get on that person's nerves. That person will get on your nerves. How much more that you could be able to handle as far as spicing up the relationship. Maybe you're thinking about even swinging, but when you're in an actual relationship, these polygamous relationships, you're actually looking at marrying 2 people. You know what I'm saying? You're actually involved in with 2 people. So right now, I'm gonna just open it up to anybody who wants to speak or wants to comment on this. Go ahead, just flash your mic if you want. You know what I'm saying? If you just want to speak on this, what is it like? We're looking at this, and you're looking at a lot of people that's cheating. I think that's a big thing. People if you're going to cheat, you might as well just be in a polygamous relationship. Is that fair to say, or what do you guys think on that? Because that's one of the things that's actually been said. Go ahead, Roosevelt. I seen you.
A polygamous relationship is an open, honest relationship. It can't be deceitful, so it can't be a matter of cheating. There has to be transparency, and polygamy is not something done just for GP purposes. It actually solves a social ill. 70% women and close to 30% men. Women outnumber us all over the planet. So we in America are new to polygamy, but polygamy has been used in other countries to help deal with the social ill. Women are always outnumbering men. So how do you deal with that? So that's where the cheating comes in, the cutthroat behavior, because the sexual appetite is an appetite. It has to be fulfilled. So if you don't have a not nice balance of men equaling the women out, then the appetite is not fed. The women are going to do cutthroat things to get that appetite fed. And that's when you come into the new era of lesbianism, homosexuality. All of these things deal with appetite and finding ways to solve them from my vantage point.
All right, appreciate that. What do you guys think about what he just said, though? Because he said the appetite of the individual, is being fed when you're looking at, this honest relationship. Do you think he has some valid points on that? Anybody can pop in and speak on that. I mean, don't all be scared at once.
Most of the sisters won't. Go ahead, sisters, come in, please.
Yeah, I want to hear from the ladies on this one. Ladies, does he has any validity on that?
This is Therese again. So I think You know, I get his point in regards to multiple women and all these other things, but you also have to understand that women are very emotional. And when you are in a polyamorous situation, you know, you have to spread your time, you have to spread your effort. It's not that you're able to do one thing for one person. When you do for one, you have to do for all. Everybody's love languages are different, so you have to create an environment to remember whose love language there is, you know, and what it entails. There's a lot more to it than just saying, well, yeah, like in Atlanta, for instance, there's probably 15 women to one man. I get it, but when do you get to a point where you say, okay, you know, just because that's the case, it doesn't mean I got to have 5 out of those women. You see what I'm saying? And while I understand your point, Roosevelt, I just want you to understand that the polyamorous lifestyle is definitely something that when you consider going into it, there has to be several elements involved. There's trust, there's communication, there has to be a lot of honesty, and there also has to be a set-up situation where you understand financially and emotionally what the commitment is. Because I think people look at it from a sexual standpoint, but they don't understand the bigger picture. This is Therese, and I'm finished.
All right, Roosevelt, do you want to respond back to that?
I love that. I'm looking for another sister to feed me some more.
All right, so with me, I'm bringing this up, so you guys can be able to see it on the YouTube channel. I'm just bringing up what it says, what polygamy is. So polygamy is the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. So when you're looking at that, you're looking at that one or more aspect. Where does the love come in? You know what I'm saying? Can someone literally, and I think this is where I'm kind of torn on, because maybe because I've loved one person before, but can you actually love more than one person to have to be able to provide in this polygamous relationship? Is that possible? I'm going to go. Sky is flashing his mic. Go ahead, Sky. Let me know. Can you love more than one person?
I think that is very possible. Now, for men and a woman, yes, it's possible. But when it comes to a woman, I think it's more so we love hard, you know. And I do agree when it comes to polygamy, you have to denounce jealousy when it comes to that. And I don't think it's right for a woman to love more than one man. I feel like she should choose, you know, because we aren't providers. The man is a provider. So you're gonna have 2 men providing for you, or I wouldn't understand how the concept would work for a woman aspect, because there's too much masculine energy for her. But as a man, I think that it's very possible for you to love more than one person and to want to provide for more than one person, because it's in your nature to provide and to protect. So I think it's very possible.
All right. Is it Maul? You were flashing your mic.
Yeah, I just agree with that. It was crazy because I was gonna say the same thing Scott said. Like, yeah, she said it for me. I'm sorry, Dre. I'm sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Because what I want, because go ahead, brother.
The reason why it wouldn't really work the other way around, because like, you know, like guys, for one, like you're gonna be territorial, you know, and then like you can get, say if I had like 4 or 5, like wow, like doesn't really matter number, I can still get them all pregnant at the same time, right? So on a biological level, that's sufficient versus the other way around.
True.
And most of the times,
go ahead.
I think most of the times that's what happens. The biological aspect comes forward, right? And whenever that happens, the sister suffer when the man can't adequately provide. So in our society, I know in my short period of 51 years, I've known brothers to practice it, and they've done it in such an irresponsible manner that the women had to carry the burden after it collapsed. So even though I as a man, understand the implications of it, the need for it. But I don't think we as men, we should have to go through a training course before implementation of that lifestyle. Because first off, back, your money has to be strong. If you don't own your own business, you can't do this, period. Because you can't have a JOB, meaning just over broke, trying to manage two women who are financially responsible. That the women are more man, you just don't understand. They're worse than a car note. They're worse than a house note. They don't go away. So when we do it, you have to do it with love. Love is a service. It's not sexuality. Sex is not love. Sex produces responsibility, and that's what produces if the love is real. You see what I'm saying? Because that burden and that consistency is needed. So it's something to be discussed, and a lot of our younger generations are launching themselves into the lifestyle, and those of us who are older should seek them out in constant so that we don't leave a remedy in women.
You broke up.
I agree with you, Roosevelt. This is Roz again. And that's why I said that if you're going to go into that lifestyle, you need to understand what you're undertaking. I read an article the other day about a woman who has two men in her life. She has a husband, and she has, he's not the side guy. He's the other, I guess, the other half of the relationship in the polyamorous situation. And they found a way to work it. They've been in it for 10 years. And for them, I guess it works. And I'm not saying that that's typical, because it's not. But again, you have to understand all the dynamics when going into a polyamorous relationship, no matter how it's set up. The structure needs to make sense, and everybody needs to be financially responsible and understand what that takes to make that dynamic work in a household. I'm done speaking.
All right, so I'm about to pose some information that was coming from the actual comment section, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. My man Jay Young said it's also looking at it from the Bible, or from the biblical standpoint. For those whom are religious, in Isaiah 4:1, it speaks about several women taking hold of one man. So it is speaking about a certain type of men who can deal with more than one woman, but not all. He also said that people who have more than one child love all their children, but in different ways. So the same thing applies with a man who can love, or men who can love more than one woman in a different ways at the same time. And then he finished it up. It says it's all about all about being real and transparent if you're going to go through it. Is that something that you think is something you can do? Me personally, to me, my patience just would not be able to stand another attitude in the house. That's just me, because it's just certain things, like you're not going to please everybody. So I don't want to be in a situation where I have to please multiple people. I'm going to go nuts. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to get an attitude. And then we all walking around with an attitude. What do you guys think? You know what I'm saying? Chime in, flash your mic when you're ready to speak. But me personally, I can't do it. So I'm gonna go, is it Malak?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me up on the stage. What I want to say, since you mentioned the Bible and polygamy mentioned in the Bible, and we've seen it countless of times with Solomon having 300 concubines and so forth. So something that was definitely practiced in the ancient times. However, like later scriptures, such as the Quran, say that you cannot, it says you can have up to 4 wives, but then it says if you can't be just with them, and then it says that you will never be able to be just with them, so you can only have one. And I think you're definitely right that having one is enough. But if a guy is financially stable, then he could possibly have more. But at the same time, he'll never be able to be equal with his time, his efforts, his love, and everything. So I think it's just one is the way to go.
All right, go ahead, Day, because I know that you were flashing your mic for a second. Day, you can go ahead.
I am very territorial, and I require a lot of time. So I cannot, after I've connected with someone, I can't, allow someone else into our space, because I'm a very jealous person, and I personally can't do it to each his own. You know, someone else that can. I don't knock them. That's good for you, but me, it's a no.
Right. It's for this is just for me, and my biggest thing is that tell me if I'm wrong, and fellas, y'all can jump in it. It's hard to learn one person and the things that they like and the things that they don't like. This is just me. And especially when it comes to women, women are very multifaceted. There's so many layers and elements to a woman. I don't feel like dealing with one and trying to figure out the source to try to figure her out, and then I have to have another one that I have to figure out and try to understand. I mean, for me, that would drive me absolutely insane. I don't care how much money I got. I don't want to sit and learn you. Not multiple you. I've got a hard enough time to deal with this. Now I'm dealing with multiple people. Like, this is just me. I'm not knocking anyone who does it. I'm looking at it I'm looking at the realistic aspect, because I look at people as people. So I want to know you. I want to understand you. I'm trying my best to find out what you like, what you don't like. And now I'm bringing 2 or 3 more people in here. Now I got to figure out, what's your favorite cake? Do you like the color red? You know what I'm saying? Or oh, you don't like to go on church on Sundays. You like Saturdays. And this, I ain't got no time for it. I don't know about y'all, but for me, it would drive me absolutely off the wall. You know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think? If you guys in the audience, you want to chime in on this conversation, all you got to do is raise your hand. We're live on the YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and raise your hand. If you're already on stage, all you got to do is flash your mic, and I'm going to call on you, and we can go ahead and talk. Roosevelt, go ahead.
Man, that portion of what you're talking about is key. Learning the woman, but most of the time when polygamy is involved, the workload and the responsibility of the couple is so high and heightened that that's when the help is needed. There is a time, depending on some men who are in position and they're married, don't search for polygamy. It just happens and the woman comes into the life and there is a natural attraction. Now you can cheat on your woman, or you can open up and be honest to your woman and see if she is when we have that conversation. Today's time where we don't have that, though. The thing is, sister said something about the Quran. The Quran did say that one is best. But when you're dealing with the imbalance, that's what we're actually dealing with, is imbalance of male-female. Now, this is the question I'll ask the sisters. You don't have to answer. How many of your friends you know who are single cheat with married men?
I don't know any. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm single. And I don't have a lot of single friends, but I have a lot of married friends, and that's just not something in the conversations. I've not seen it, and I've not heard it in my circle of friends, but I have seen it outside of my circle of friends. And I've seen a lot of the cheating happening because we're living in a really we're living in a real space where people have a lot more access to each other, where there's the men and the women cheating, they're not feeling satisfied or fulfilled at home, and instead of them sitting with their partner and having those conversations. But what I can say is the polyamorous lifestyle is becoming more prevalent in our community than it used to be. So I'm a land right there.
All right.
I mean, the issue with, like, you know, people cheating, I think if people are going to cheat, and if they do desire more than one woman, they should be, like, you know, Roosevelt said, open and honest about that. They should talk with their girls or their wives and say, hey, I'm interested in another one, and then speak with the other one and see if they all agree, rather than deceiving and also, like, betraying their mate, because that's a huge thing.
All right, so I'm gonna just pose a question from the chat. It says, and he was talking to me. He said, "Dre, just saying hypothetically, let's say that you had 2 women who say they would not be a headache, and you knew for a fact that they would not cause any problems. I think you would possibly think differently. You are automatically assuming it would be problems, but not necessarily with the comprehension. What are your thoughts?" I'm talking about not them, me. I'm talking about me personally. I don't want to learn multiple. I'm a monogamous guy. I don't want to learn multiple people. I don't have time to sit up here and open up the thesaurus and learn about one thing and then open up a whole totally different thesaurus and learn about another one. Even if they say we're not going to be a headache, we're going to be cool, we're going to be this, we're going to be that. There are certain levels to me that I'm not going to be, after a while, I'm not going to be comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to have to learn your attitude. I'm going to have to learn certain things about you. You're not just going to be walking around like an aimless avatar. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a human being. And I'm looking at the actual human aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? The human aspect of people is that people have feelings. People have thoughts. People are logical. People have multifaceted portions of them. So when I'm looking at this individual person, I'm not only just looking at the sexual aspect of it. Yes, the sexual aspect of it could be awesome, but at the end of the day, this is still a person. So as a person, what am I trying to learn so we can be able to have peace in the home? You damn well can't have. It's hard to have peace in the home with one person. You know what I'm saying? Then you think you can have it, then I got to bring another person in and I'm trying to balance this out. I'm a Libra. I'm all about balances, but there's only so much mentally that I personally will be able to balance because I know me. So it'd be hard for me to be able to continue the polyamorous relationship, no matter how much I'm taking care of things, no matter this, that, and the other. For me, it's going to be harder because I want to be able to get the integral parts of a person. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe it's hard to have all of those integral parts of the person if you are dealing with more than one person. Anybody in the audience, if you feel like I'm wrong or I'm right or whatever, you can go ahead and speak right now. It's popcorn session. Anybody can pop up. It's all.
I agree with you, Dre. I definitely think that it's where relationships are more than just like passions, about the passions of the human. It's also about like getting to know somebody, and that takes a while as well. And getting to know more than one person is it's tough, and then their attitudes. I mean, you're bringing up really great points, so I don't see how somebody can disagree with you on that.
All right. Anyone else wants to pop in? All you got to do is flash your mic so I can be able to call on you. All right, go ahead, Therese.
I didn't hear the last part of what you said. If you don't mind repeating it, sorry.
No, if you agree, you disagree, or if you want to, you just want to pop in and speak on this. My personal views is based on me knowing myself as far as the reason why I wouldn't get into. I see the benefit of being in a poly relationship if you don't have the same mindset as me, because I can only deal with so much. Go ahead, Therese. You can go ahead and speak.
So for me, because of where I am in life, I won't entertain a polyamorous relationship now. For me, it's too difficult to maintain. I think emotionally, I'm not sound enough for the dealing of another woman's emotions, her own individual situation. I don't know if she would be financially stable or not. I don't want to be the person to just be trying to hold that person down. Too, he would have to really be in a lot of different places that for me, I'm good. It's a hard pass at this stage of my life. And that's where I'm at.
Absolutely. And that's kind of like, I think, like I said, my thing is always goes back to the mental aspect of it, because mentally as a man, my job is to be a provider, right? So if I'm being a provider in this relationship, yes, I could provide provide for you financially, you know what I'm saying? But what are we looking at when we start talking about the actual emotional side of this? You know what I'm saying? What do you guys feel as far as the emotional side? Is monogamy better for the emotional side, or is the polygamy better for the emotional side? Go ahead and tune in.
I think that it's with polygamous relationships, you will have the woman competing, so we'll definitely see like better like women competing for their husband's love, I guess. So what it does is actually spice up the relationship. When we see, like, when we compare it to monogamous relationships, you see that within like 2-3 years or more, they start getting bored of each other, and that's because there's nothing there. Like, they already have each other. So there is some kind of pros to polygamous relationships than monogamous, but then we also have many pros for the other side, and that's, like, I guess, jealousy. But then out of jealousy comes competition, and then from there, it's really one, like, tough topic. But I think people who can handle polygamous relationships should do it, considering that women outweigh or outnumber men at large.
Well, you don't have to think. I don't really think it's like that. You know what I'm saying? If everybody's cool down with the polygamy, I want to be polygamous, to be honest.
Well, and let me before you go further, Joshua. Why do you want to be polygamous? I want to know the why, so we can get a general understanding.
I like options. I like just more emotion. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, being polygamous gives you more options. You know, more love than just one person. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
All right. Does anybody want to respond to that?
Yeah. Can I just respond? So Joshua, when you're polygamous, you're not actually letting go of the girls. You're maintaining a relationship of more than one woman. So you're not just having options. You have to cater to these women equally.
That's cool. You know, I got 3 jobs, so you feel me? Them 3 jobs are great, brother. Great. Listen, when we talking about polygamy, man is the maintainer of women. So when we take it and we start talking about polygamy, the man has to have a moral standard, has to be responsible to the highest level. For the mental is a leader, has knowledge of how to deal with the psychological problems that's going to arise. He is the head of his household. He is a financial genius. He knows how to get women and the whole family to work towards the commonality that we are responsible for a unit. This is a scientific process. This ain't some emotional, just jump into it and having sex. Sex is only 10% of the unit's operation. The other part is maintenance, the future children, the education, the food. When you got multiple sources of income coming into one unit, it frees the whole unit from being under pressure. There's never financial problems when there's a polygamy relationship and it is properly maintained with intelligence. Because now you got multiple financial sources bringing to one unit. Y'all will never have a problem at all. It's a promise. That's my vantage point.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, Chick. I'm gonna let you speak, and then I'm gonna pose a question from the YouTube channel in the comment section. Go ahead, Chick.
Yeah, I was just gonna tack on what Roosevelt was saying and say that I come from a polygamous family. My grandfather had a couple wives, and I really I think you guys touched on a lot of it. The communication is important, but where I come from particularly, there's a system in place, kind of like a template, and of course you can always adjust a template, but it's a template, at least a standard for people knowing how to operate in these situations, and it's not so much of a taboo, I guess, as it is over here. Does that make sense?
Right, because it's really big in African culture. Is very, very big. At least I want to say 34% of marriages in certain African countries are a polygamous marriage.
Yeah, I'm not for sure about the actual percentage numbers, but I'll take your word for it. But I know
I was just looking it up. My fault.
No, you're good. And the thing is too, and this, I don't want to ruffle any guys' feathers, but I only know to be honest. It's not a broke man's game. It's not, because at the same time, if you're going to be, especially in America, where people respect financial stability,
right?
You don't provide a certain measure of financial stability, at least to give one woman, not to talk about 2 or more, the sense that they would be stable if and when they get pregnant, and they have to take care of children. If they choose, they can have the choice to stay on the side. That's a big deal. People don't think about things like that. But as a man, as quote unquote head of the household, it's very important that you can shoulder that burden, even if it's not forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of people think about, like you said, the sexual side of it, or the having options. And I'm not knocking anybody for how they feel, but there needs to be a structure behind it to quote unquote make it make sense.
Right. Absolutely. And again, just try to give just a little bit of housekeeping right now. We are live on YouTube right now. We're talking about polygamy better than monogamy right now. If you are in the audience and you want to go ahead and step up and talk about it, about this topic, all you got to do is raise your hand. We'll bring you up so you can be able to talk about this. So you can be able to chime in on this. If this is your first time here on the Dre Max Show, from the Clubhouse, make sure that you follow the actual house. Make sure that you follow the moderators that's in here. Make sure you also follow me on Clubhouse. Follow me on YouTube at the Dre Max Show, or you could be able to follow me on the Dre Max Show or the Dre Max Podcast Show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Radio, iHeartRadio. I'm messing this all up. Spotify, or wherever you just get your podcasts at. Just real quick, this was a post from the comment section on the YouTube channel. So it says, if you were in a monogamous relationship and it wasn't going well, and she posed the polyamorous aspect towards you, would you be down? I'm posing this to the audience, fellas. Would you be down if your woman asked you to be in a polyamorous relationship? Go ahead. You can go ahead, flash your mic, and I'll call on you. All right, Chig, go ahead.
So, can I ask a question so I can understand the question better?
Let me repeat it. If you were in a hold on, I got it up on my screen. If you were in a monogamous relationship and it wasn't going well, and your girlfriend posed the polyamorous aspect towards you, would you be down?
I mean, yeah, I've actually been in that situation before. It was more so because of the sexual chemistry, I guess, sexual endurance per se.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, as they say, my grandfather told me one day, he told his wife, we need help, essentially, because, for whatever reason, in my situation, we had two different libidos, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right.
There's not that there was any problems communication-wise, chemistry-wise, anything like that. The certain person just couldn't go as much. And they understood that, and they knew me. They truly understood me. So it was posed. Well, I actually posed it, and we had a conversation, and I listened genuinely, and we had a deep conversation over how things would work, what would be important, how would things, blah, blah, blah. And in those situations where you're man enough to be completely transparent, and the woman is woman enough to be completely transparent, and you both understand what you're going into, it worked out for a while, for a good while.
Got
so,
you.
I would definitely jump in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies, would you do that? Would you jump into a polyamorous relationship if everything wasn't going well in the relationship and, that was posed? Cinderella, go ahead.
Oh, Dre, thanks for having me, first. And two, I don't think no female is going to want to result to adding another female to the relationship. That's, something that a man will want to do.
Everything was going kind of bad, and that's like the only way to save that relationship. I think I would probably entertain it, that's only imagining that things are not going well, and there's a potential risk for divorce, etc. Then perhaps I'd entertain it only for that reason. Otherwise, I agree with Cinderella. I don't think any woman is going to actually want to share her husband.
And that's unfortunate.
Go ahead, Chick.
I know, actually, one of my more recent exes in recent years, she was actually the person that kind of brought it up to me before me bringing it up to her. And she said, well, that's the type of lifestyle that she wants. And it's not necessarily about being afraid or it being for me. She was the person that suggested it. So it's not always something that's an option of last resort. Some people actually like that lifestyle, genuinely, like even before actually being in a relationship.
Yeah, Ching, I've actually watched numerous different documentaries on people who actually enjoy it. They love being in polygamous relationships, and the women love it too. They say it's like, it's not boring, it's pretty cool, just having like a friend who's also like, you know, your husband's wife.
Yeah, but that's one thing. But to say that, you know, that'll fix your marriage or it'll help your marriage, that's disgusting. And to normalize that or to try to normalize it.
So let me.
I mean, that's your opinion, Cinderella. I'm
of course. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if divorce was that last resort and then that could potentially save the marriage, I mean, why not?
It's sad. I'm
saying that now because I'm not in that position, but who knows? It could be different when if I'm actually faced with that choice, I probably would.
So let me ask this real quick. Let's pose this question, because this is something that's coming from the YouTube channel also. So Mike says, ladies, if things were going well, but you needed more spice into it with people from the past, how would you feel in order to save the spark? So if you wanted more spice in your life, would you be able to bring someone into the relationship?
He said from the past.
Yeah, it said from his past. It said the exact quote is, ladies, if things are going well, but you needed more spice into it with people from his past, how would you feel in order to save the spark? So I guess he's saying if you was to bring someone from your if he was to bring someone from his past and say, hey, won't we just have this relationship with this person we used to date, but they're down with sharing both of us, would you be okay with it? That's what I'm getting.
No, because then guess what? All his feelings are just going to come right back.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
It's just going to mess up everything.
And it's not come back. That means it never left. That's disgusting.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and I'm going to pose this to everyone, and then flash your mics if you're ready to answer this question. Do you believe that communication should be talked about in the beginning of a relationship so we can figure out if someone wants to be in a polygamous relationship or you want to be monogamous? Does that need to be a conversation that happens up front? Go ahead, flash your mic when you're ready to answer. I'm going with Carla because Carla hasn't spoken yet. Go ahead, Carla.
I absolutely think that it needs to be addressed from the start. If that is something that you're open to, that's actually a question that I always ask, being someone that is open to a poly relationship, and by that I definitely mean on my end as well. Like, you have your, person you're free to date someone else, as well as I'm free to date someone else. So I think that that's something that should be addressed up front.
Absolutely. Flash your mic when you're ready to speak, and I'm gonna call on you. Go ahead, young Mike, and then I'm gonna go to Roosevelt right after young Mike.
Hey, young Mike ain't got nothing to say or whatever, but I just want to say thank you to Dre for utilizing my questions on his live chat on YouTube. I'm done speaking. Go ahead, Roosevelt.
Okay, appreciate that, yo, Mike. Roosevelt, go ahead.
There's a difference between an open relationship and polygamy.
Speak on it.
Polygamy is a responsibility, man. You're not in it for sex. It's bigger than sex. If you want sex, you can just stay single and just go out and date and do all of the mad things you want to do. But when you're dealing with polygamy, you're dealing with a responsibility. It ain't meant to start without staying the course. It's meant for you to take care of a person or more in your life. It's not, and sometimes because of the actual, in the history of polygamy, it was actually used to stop prostitution and the different things that were going on in certain societies. So it was implemented for men to become more responsible, and this was done because men had to go to war. So men went to war. When men went to war to defend their nations and their community, some didn't come back. So when they returned, they were women left with children, with no man, because the man just lost his life defending that tribe or that community or that nation. So the men who were more stronger in responsibility are going out to get the basic needs for his family, but he just lost his brother in the war. He took his brother's wife on into a polygamous relationship to cover down for losing his brother. So it all depends on what is being done and how it's being done. And the reason it's being done, I think right now in America, it's being done in a sexual preference and not in a responsible preference. But either way, the young man and the young women are going to learn something from it. I only ask that they study the history of the implementation, the backlag of it, the good of it. There's a lot of good in it because it actually makes the human release the evil trait of envy, jealousy. These are traits that keep us divided and at each other's throat. Suspicion, lying, polygamy, you can't lie. You see, so all of those particular things that we have as traits are immediately disposed of because this type of relationship, they can't even exist. You can't lie, man, period. But I ask all who intend to do it or desire to do it, just to do a thorough research on the history of its implementation and then use the best portions of what you learn to do it in the best manner. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. That was actually very well spoken. We got about 10 minutes of the show left. Again, if this is your first time coming on here, make sure you follow the Dre Mack Show on the YouTube channel at the Dre Mack Show. Make sure that you hit the bell notification icon. Make sure you like us, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another episode of the Dre Mack Show. If you want to listen to it, all you got to do is follow the Dre Mack Podcast Show or the Dre Mack Show on either Speaker Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts at. I'm going, since he actually brought up the history of it, I'm going to just bring just a little bit. I'm going to read just a little bit of some of the pros and cons of polygamy. And this is from Psychology Today. It says, a man who takes more than one wife satisfies more of his sexual appetite, signals high social status, and generally feels better about himself. His many children supply him and is ready with a ready source of labor and the means through arranged marriages to create multiple relatable and durable social, economic, and political alliances. Polygamy may be costly, but in the long term, it can make a richer man richer. In a monogamous society, powerful men are usually established. Powerful men often establish long-term sexual relationships with women other than their wives, concubines, although in this case, the junior partners and their children born to them do not enjoy the same legal protections as a legitimate wife and children. So let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and start winding this up. What do y'all think about that? Does a rich man get richer on the polygamous side, or does the man who has a monogamous relationship but rather have a little side piece basically on the side, is he better? Let's talk about that. Go ahead, flash your mic when you're ready. Chig, go ahead.
Okay, so this is how I feel. If you're gonna be a monogamous man, you have to be a monogamous man. Because at the end of the day, if you're cheating, if you're stepping on and you have a side piece, that's an expense.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much that's gonna do for you. Because she's not contributing to a household, you're contributing to keep her on your team. Because more than likely, if you stop spending money, you're gonna stop having a side piece. It's a different situation when you have two women or whatever number of women that you believe that you want or have, and everybody's on the same page. You have an understanding of what's expected. Yeah, you don't work per se for anybody's business, but you work within this business here in this aspect. So now we're bringing in more money. We have more super invested people into what we're building, whatever that may be. You get what I'm saying? It's
yes.
More so if you're cheating on the side, if you're doing shit on the side, sneaky, you got to pay to play. So you're losing money. You're just kicking it out. Most likely, you're not getting much back outside like sexual favors or sexual options, variants. So that's what I got about that.
All right. Go ahead, Mike.
I also agree with Ching. I mean, it's going to definitely be like emotional turmoil for the guy who is cheating, because now he has to deal with the fact that he has, I guess, a family with another woman who's his wife doesn't know about, and it's just emotionally toxic. So of course the guy who's open about it, and it's he has duties to both and they both are aware, he's going to be more emotionally stable. So I think that's why they consider the polygamous man richer, is because of that.
Absolutely.
Even to add on to that, even to add on to that, it's the fact that you guys are all on the same page. And if suppose it is your kids are already up and grown and in school, you know, of course, nowadays I'm learning that women don't really want to stay home. Like just cooking and all that, staying at home is not everybody's dream. Some women love work. They love being able to go out there and make money for themselves. But in that, you also get an extra income for the family. Even if they don't work within, you know, whatever man's company he has going on, that's extra income to invest. That's extra income, extra exposure, extra input to build whatever you're building. Because even me now, I've had girlfriends in the past that have given me advice on certain things or an opinion that literally changed the way I did business. And, you know, just in that aspect, just them being that invested. Now, imagine you have two women that are fully invested and they know that what they put in, they're going to get back multiples of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so I'm going to pose one question. We got 5 minutes left. I'm going to pose one question, and I'm going to answer it first, and then I want you guys to tap in. Young Mike says, if polygamy was a saving grace from a once very imperative relationship, would you be able to adhere to those new set of rules? Me personally, as long as we have a conversation about it, it depends on how the conversation goes. But again, that should be something that should be talked about in the very beginning when we're getting to know each other. So I would know if these situations arrive. That's why I really believe conversation and comprehension is so important in the beginning when you first meet someone. So if you're having a conversation, you're comprehending by listening and understanding what this person is willing to do and what they're not willing to do, what they're willing to understand and what they're not willing to understand. Everything has to be out in the open. I'm gonna pose this last question to you guys. Go ahead. You can flash your mic when you're ready. Just keep the comment under 30 seconds. Go ahead, Roosevelt.
I wanted to go back to the rich man. Any man that's a polygamist, he's actually got to be in a position to empower the vision of the woman that's coming in. So immediately he gets richer because women come with ideas and women have work ethic. So any woman that's coming into the relationship, if he's financially strong, he immediately empower her. So if she's solid, she immediately bring more money to the empire. So it all depends on how it's done. If honesty is the key, a woman is an asset instead of a liability, the team gonna win all back.
I agree. Chig, go ahead.
Oh no, I was giving him his applause because I agree with every single word he said.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why they say that a woman is a prize. I think what they mean is a good woman. You know what I mean? Just like there's not all good men, there's not all good women. But a good woman that's willing to buy in and coming with her insight and her experiences. And like he said, you have the resources to empower her idea. If she starts a business, you know, and it takes off, because like he said, they have work ethic. And they will slave and do multiple things at the same time and kill it. You know, your empire just got wider. It just got bigger. So yeah, I'm done.
Absolutely. And again, I thank everyone for tuning in to the Dre Mack Show, live from inside of Clubhouse, live on YouTube right now, live on the Facebook page. Again, make sure if you haven't followed me, check me out on my social media sites. On Instagram, it's the Dre Mack Show. You could go to Facebook, the Dre Mack Show, on the Dre Mack Show page. I'm more active on Instagram, so just hit me up at the Dre Mack Show on IG, especially if you have any thoughts or anything that you want to talk about. On Tuesday, I'm going to come back with the Hell Day. We're actually still going to do the Hell Day. Hell Day Part 2 is going to come Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central Time. 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then so on and so forth on Mountain and Pacific Time. So until then, we're going to talk to you later. If you guys want to enjoy more of this content, again, make sure to hit the bell notification on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. I love y'all. I appreciate these type of conversations because the more and more we have these conversations, the more and more we learn from each other. We can understand each other better. Until then, peace and shalom to everyone. I am out.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dre Mack, with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.